G'day, Battlers. Welcome to the Backyard Battlers podcast, brought to you by Goat Squad Media. We're just three ordinary blokes talking to some extraordinary people, the likes of AFL stars, AFLW stars, AFL legends, and everything else in between. Stay tuned and enjoy the ride. G'day, Battlers. Welcome back to the Backyard Battlers podcast, brought to you by Goat Squad Media. We are so excited to have you join with us today. I am joined by Lochland, Spillsy Wills, and Ethan Evelyn Sivages. Boys, how are we?
Terrific, mate.
Really good, mate.
Ethan, busy week, busy day. How you going today?
Yeah, I've been pretty flat out today. I missed the morning meeting, which is good.
Did miss the morning meeting and late for this one as well. So that's
and
good.
Late for this one. So I'm 2 for 2 today.
Absolute liability as usual.
Spills, mate, how's your day going today?
Yeah, good, mate. Good. Been a long one, but yeah, good. Happy to be here with you two.
It's nice of you to say.
How was your day, mate?
Not too bad. Did some baking.
Baking.
Made some bondies from scratch today.
Ooh,
Threw
yummy.
some little caramel chips in it.
Boys,
nice.
before we get into the podcast, there's been some breaking news that came out on a little while ago. BT, Brian Taylor, taken to hospital after a gas explosion in his own home, fixing the hot water system.
Not great.
No,
He's all right.
I'm trying to think of how he would describe that, but yeah, no, not great at all. Wow,
I don't know. I don't know if I want to listen to footy if he can't commentate. So
I was just thinking that.
Anyway,
we'll move on. Now, we have a great guest on the show today, boys. We are so excited. Catching up with Brooke Lochland, AFLW superstar, Western Bulldogs vice captain. This is how the chat went. Welcome back to the Backyard Battlers podcast, brought to you by Goat Squad Media. Today we are joined by AFLW superstar Brooke Lochland. She is an AFLW premiership player, All-Australian, leading goal kicker. Brooke, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thanks for having me, boys. Really excited to be here.
Now we're going to kick it off with just a few questions about, obviously, early life. Start at the start, obviously. That's how life works. Younger days, junior footy. Can you give me a little bit of a background?
Yeah, so I've always watched footy, have loved it. I'm a Bombers supporter and still am. So I'm a bit upset that the team I play for and the team I've grown up supporting are playing each other this weekend. But it's a win-win for me. But yeah, so grew up watching the Bombers. I was watching Hurdy, Fletch, all those boys, and I should say Gary O'Donnell as well if he's listening to this podcast. But, I played Auskick when I was younger. I was the only girl, and then I also had that kind of going into junior footy as well. So played for St Mary's Football Club, and I was the only girl in the team again. But I didn't really think about it back then as being the only girl. I just really enjoyed footy and I really enjoyed playing with the boys. They were a great bunch of boys and really welcomed me, and I had a lot of fun playing for a couple of years until I was no longer able to play. So when I think it was 12 or 13, had to stop. I was really upset. So I was like, I just didn't understand at that age. I was like, why can't I play anymore? And they're like, well, the boys are getting stronger and you can't keep up with them and you'll get hurt and all these things. And I was really lucky that I had another sport to go on and play. But I know a lot of girls just really hated the sport because they just wanted to play and couldn't. So yeah, that was me growing up with footy and until going on to another sport.
Now you mentioned that other sport. Now, a little bit back, it's not a common sport to have, especially for young people in Australia. Could you touch on that a little bit as well, and what it was, what you did, and like all the trainings and stuff that went involved with it as well?
Yeah, so as you said, it's not common at all. And I think that we all had roller skates growing up, but it was just you'd put them on and go down the street and fall over a few times and get some grazes on your legs. But I went to the local skating rink in Eltham and I was horrific. I was holding onto the wall. I was holding onto my cousin's hand. I just could not. And it took a few lessons and a few times going to the rink, and then just one day I just was like, nah, I'm gonna stop holding onto the wall. So I let go, and then I was like, wow, I'm actually all right at this. So I don't know how I kind of fell in love with the sport, but I just liked going fast, and clearly I liked going in circles, and I did that for a really long time. So that's how I started, and then started competing at I think 6 years old, and then yeah, I guess there's a bit of history from there in terms of going overseas, and I'm sure we'll touch on that soon.
Yeah, awesome. Love that. So you went overseas, went to Holland, correct?
Yeah, so I went to Holland when I was 16. So I finished year 10, and then I left. I ended up being there for 6 years. I wasn't sure how long I was going to be there, but ended up being 6 years. At the time, I just wanted to compete for my country, compete in the European World Circuit. And I don't know how my parents let me go at such a young age, but talking to them now, or talking to Dad now, he's like, well, it's just what you wanted to do, and we just wanted to support you and whatever you wanted to do with your sport. And so yeah, finished year 10, and went over there, and yeah, competed around Europe, did the World Championships. So yeah, I was really grateful to travel so much and compete against the best in the world.
Now, doing that as a young age, it's got to be a struggle. It can't be very easy. Obviously, 16 years old, you're still a kid, really. Looking back, I mean, when I was 16, I thought I was a man, but I was definitely an infant. Going overseas at 16 years old, that must have had challenges.
Yeah, as you just said, you think you know a lot at 16, but you really don't. You really know not much at all. I was lucky that I was on a professional team, so a family there took me in. So one of my teammates took me in, and I lived in this laundry room as such. So I had this small single bed in this. It was like Harry Potter. That's kind of the room I was living in. And so I lived there for a couple of years at a friend's house, and I'm so grateful that they took me in and fed me and all of that and drove me around. I didn't have a license back then, obviously at 16, and then we moved into a share house we called it the Aussie house because we had about 4 or 5 of us Aussies who lived in the same house. And yeah, I guess as I said, it had its challenges. I really had to grow up fast, but I'm grateful for going through those experiences because, I feel like it's really shaped me into the person I am today. And I'm so grateful for meeting so many incredible people over there who I'm still friends with now and I still keep in touch with. And it's an experience and an opportunity that I really needed to take. And I'm so glad I did it. And obviously now in these times, we can't travel. So I'm so glad that I got to do so much traveling back then.
Yeah, so you mentioned your travels, which is obviously fantastic too. Great part of the world to go visit. What's your best Europe story?
I was thinking about this when you sent me the questions. I guess I have a couple. So one is that I had a sponsored car, so I was really lucky that they gave me a car to travel to all the races in. And I had this one race in Germany, so it was probably only a 4-hour drive or so, which was actually quite short compared to a lot of the other drives that I did. I probably did 10, 12 hours some weekends, but this was a short one, so 4 hours of Germany. I was coming back and I was by myself, so I'm usually with a teammate or someone else. By myself, and I hear a noise from the car, and so I rang up one of my coaches and I was like, I have no clue about cars. There's a noise. What do I do? And he was like, I think you need coolant or whatever it was. Stop at the petrol station, put it in. So I was like, yep, no worries. Stopped, put it in. On my way again, and I was on the German highway. So on the German highways, most people know that you can go as fast as you want. So I was like shitting myself because my car wasn't, it was making noise. Everyone was flying past me, and I was like, oh my God. So got back on the highway, and it still made this noise. And so I was like, I'm almost in Holland. I just need to get to Holland, and then I'll sort it out. It was probably an hour out of Holland. And so kept driving. The noise was getting louder and louder. And I was like, oh my God, I feel like the car's going to explode here. And then it literally did. Like it was a massive bang and I shit myself. I stopped on the side of the road. I got out of the car and I just ran. So I ran down the German highway. Yeah, because I was like, I don't know if this car's going to, catch on fire or what, but got out of the car and ran. So yeah, I guess that was one story that was quite funny because you can imagine me just running down the highway while there's cars coming past me at 300 k's an hour. And another one which I haven't told this story to many people, but we had to get a visa for every year we were there. So it was they made it really difficult to be able to live there as a foreigner. So I got different visas every year. 1 year I had to travel 10 hours to Denmark to get a visa. And it was actually, it was really difficult kind of looking back now. But I'd always come back to Australia for about a month every year to sort it out. So came back, saw family, sorted out another visa and went back as I always had been. Got to Belgium and had this visa, showed them, and they were like, oh, there's something not right here. We need to look into it. So they started looking into it and, after probably 1 or 2 hours of them researching it, they were like, you're not coming in. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, I've just traveled 24 hours to get here. You're not coming in. And so essentially, a really long story short, but I got deported from Europe. So I got deported from Belgium. They sent me to London, which was the last place that I was in. It was out of the EU. I think London is part of the EU now. It wasn't part of the EU. They sent me there, and pretty much it was like a movie. So they put me in this room. I felt like I was locked up. They took all my stuff. I had nothing, and there was like 3 people that would just watch in from a glass window. So I remember just crying. I sat on the floor and I was like, oh my God, like what is happening? And I could only call my family for 2 minutes. So I rang Dad and I tried to explain to him what was going on, but I was crying so much that I couldn't get it out. So he was like, and he tells me now, he goes, I was just so helpless. Like I got off the phone and I was like, I just can't do anything. So I was in this room for 2 days, it was in the end, and I literally just sat on the ground and watched the clock until they could get me on a plane back to Australia. So yeah, it was literally like a movie. So they put me on this plane. I had a security guard follow me on the plane. I had to sit at the back by myself, and I got a 3-year ban in the end. So it was, I laugh at the story now, but back then it was pretty upsetting. So it was Olympic year. I was really excited to go for the Olympics, and I had to try and qualify from another country. So came back home, ended up training by myself. I went to Salt Lake City to try and qualify for the Olympics, missed out. So yeah, it was a bit of a story, but I'm kind of glad it happened. I missed being home, and I've done my time now, so I can go back to Europe.
So your 2 best Europe stories is 1, your car blowing up, and 2, you getting kicked out of the continent, really.
3-year ban.
3-year ban. So the car things, you said you had no idea. Is it true you learned how to change a tyre on an ad for Bob Jane Team Arts?
Oh, someone's really stitching me up here. I did. We had a competition because obviously Bob J Team Arts is the Western Bulldogs sponsor. We had a competition against a couple of Carlton girls. So Jess Hosking was one of them. And we had to change a tyre as quick as we could. Bulldogs did win, so I've got one up on Jess there. But yes, I can say I know how to change a tyre now.
That's what matters, really. So
Ethan
how long
still
were you?
can't.
No, Ethan has no idea how to do it. You were in Europe for 6 years. So when returning, what did you get up to? Obviously, being a professional athlete over there, then coming back to doing what?
Yeah, I did everything different. So as a child, or as a teenager, you're in your final years of school, and you're going out and you're drinking and you're having a lot of fun. Whereas I did life completely flipped. So I didn't finish school. I went overseas. I wasn't drinking. I never partied. I never did any of that. So when I came back and everything happened, I was like, I actually kind of want to be a teenager at 22. And I know that, even you, Luke, at 25, you still act like you're 16, but
it's more fun that way.
Yeah, I just wanted to, be a teenager as such and go out and drink and all of that. So I did that for a couple of years, but I still had the mindset of being an athlete. So I even, it sounds silly, but I'd go out and sometimes I'd get home at 6 o'clock and then I'd actually jump on the bike and go for a ride. So it sounds really silly, but I still had the mindset of being an athlete and training. And I did all the training hours that I used to do overseas, even though I wasn't really training for anything. But yeah, so still kept doing that. And then I knew that I wanted to be in a team sport. I was always against just a clock. So I was sick of just me and a clock. I wanted to be in a team where, if you stuff up, it doesn't matter. You've got 4 quarters or whatever it is. And I was choosing between soccer and footy. And I was working at a pub at the time that my sister was managing. So I didn't have a job. I had no money. So I was working at this pub, and then there was a table of a committee, and I was cleaning their table, and I was like, I heard them talk footy. You guys, a footy club? And they were like, yep, we're Montmorency Footy Club. Have you played footy before? And I was like, well, when I was young, I haven't played for about 10 years, but love it, thinking of playing again. And because I had no money, there was a guy on the table and he owned a gym. And this just happened to be the gym that I was a member at before I left overseas. And he goes, I'll give you a free membership for a year if you just play 3 games for us. And I was like, sweet. Like, if I don't like it, it doesn't matter. I've got a free membership. This is great. I had no money. And so played 3 games, and then turns out I really loved it and kept playing for Montmorency Football Club and until we had to fold our team. So that's how I started.
So with footy, obviously you touched on you're a Bomber supporter, sadly. Sorry about that. Role models growing up in the footy world.
Oh, as I said before, I just love watching footy. And yes, I watch the Bombers, but I've watched kind of every team. And my dad is a massive Carlton supporter, so I'd always watch Carlton with him. I actually think that I was a Carlton supporter first, and then my nan used to take me to games, and she was Essendon. So then I think I just turned to Essendon because I was always watching at the games. But yeah, I guess I just watched all the boys. I'd probably say that James Hird was my number one. I think I had him, number 5 on the back of my jumper when I played Auskick. But yeah, so that in terms of footy, yeah, those are I watched a lot and watched a lot of guys playing. But in terms of skating, I had a heap of role models that I grew up with as well. I trained with these, mostly guys that I trained with, but they say that you become the people you surround yourself with, and I was really lucky to have such great role models in the skating world as well. We worked really hard, and we just created this environment where we challenged each other. We just wanted to get better, and those guys were, Oceania champions, national champions, world champions. So yeah, I was really grateful for so many role models growing up around me.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you mentioned also the few games you played of footy, and then obviously leading into the VFL and then eventually the AFLW. Like, how exciting was that as a new challenge, coming from a different sport, and then obviously playing footy at the very start of your life to having to stop, and then now being able to do it at a professional level?
Yeah, really exciting. When I started at Montmorency, the competition wasn't announced yet. So I just wanted to play because I love the game. And as I said before, we had to fold. We didn't have enough players. Whereas I think now I've heard that the club I was at has, I think, 3 senior teams or something, and they have about 60 girls at most trainings, whereas we were struggling to get 10. So that's kind of where it's come in 5-6 years, which is amazing. But yeah, so we folded, and then I wanted to go to a VFL club just to take it up a step and really challenge myself. So I ended up going to Melbourne Uni, and I played there. I think it was 3 years until we got drafted. So we all got drafted in 2016, and then into AFLW.
Awesome. So, Brooke, one of the biggest things we want to do on this podcast is do our bit to promote the AFLW. And one of the biggest things with the AFLW at the moment, and a lot of people don't understand, is a lot of the girls are still working outside of footy. They don't have the luxuries of it paying for their lifestyles and everything like that. So one of the questions, how do you manage the balance between elite level footy and working?
It's tough. It's tough for a lot of girls. When I first started, or when we first got drafted, I was working full time. So, most girls they're working 9 to 5 or 8 to 4, and then going straight to the club, and we're there until 9:30 at night. And some of the girls live, an hour away. So if they're getting home at 10:30 at night and then having to get up to go to work the next day, it can be really tough. And we're part-time athletes, but we're actually full-time athletes because, you can't just do the season and then stop training. So we have about 2 weeks off after the season, and then we're back into it. And it's really tough for some of the girls who have jobs where they're, some of them working even 12, 16-hour days. I had a teammate the first couple seasons who is a doctor, and she would do night shift, sleep 3 hours, and then come to training. And
wow,
I just look at some of those girls and just go, wow, like it's really incredible, what some of us kind of go through. I've always been pretty lucky that I've had bosses who have supported me because they love football, but some of these girls have bosses who hate football and don't understand the AFLW and the space we're in at the moment. So it's really tough for some of them. But I think it's getting better slowly, but and especially when we're getting paid a little bit more each year. But yeah, it's just about managing it all, and the support that we have at the club and the staff. They completely understand what we're going through, and they're in a similar position as well. So most of the staff, they don't get paid a lot as well. So they've got essentially full-time jobs, and then they're coming to training as well. So we're all kind of going through it together, and we've just got to support each other through it.
Yeah, well, the growth of the game's been amazing. In the few years the competition's been around now, it's gone from strength to strength, and hopefully it continues on that trajectory. Back to your career, what was the proudest moment so far in your career, do you think?
Oh, proudest moment. Getting drafted was a pretty proud moment. I think there was we all got invited to, I can't remember where it was now, but there's about 50 girls, and we all brought our families, and we're all sitting there. And, a lot of the girls had interviews with different clubs. I had an interview with Carlton, I had an interview with Collingwood, and I didn't have an interview with the Bulldogs. So a lot of girls didn't know where they were going to go, or what pick they were going to go, or if they were going to go at all. So that was a pretty proud moment. I had, my dad there, and I think I went at, I think it was 56 or 58 maybe, pick 58, which that was a proud moment. And then I think the first game as well, and some of the girls who play for Collingwood and Carlton back then, the first game was incredible. And I remember sitting and watching, and I remember just tearing up because it was like, wow, this competition is actually starting. And to see Icon Park full, and people out the front waiting to get in, it was like just a really proud moment for the competition. And my first game at Whitten Oval that weekend, we had a full crowd as well. So I think ours was a lockout, and just running out onto the ground and looking at the stands and going, wow, people are actually coming to watch us. We probably had a crowd with a maximum of 100 people, and to go from that to 12,000 people was a really incredible moment. So yeah, there are a couple, and then obviously winning a premiership is something that I'll be forever grateful for, and it's hard to do, and now I look back and go, geez, like, you know, we've done something that I might not be able to do again. So, and I knew that at the time. I'd kind of got some advice from the boys who obviously they'd won the flag in 16 and just said, you know, have you got any tips? And they were like, this may never happen again. So really enjoy, especially the week leading up to the grand final. So yeah, there's a few proud moments.
Yeah, lovely. Thank you. It's something that when we first talked about starting the podcast that we were really excited about, and we really want to make sure when the AFLW season rolls around, we're trying to do our bit to support it as best we can. Obviously, at this stage, we're not going to be able to do a heap, but if we can do our bit, that's really exciting. Heath, I think you've got a couple of questions.
I do. I've got a couple of questions. One of them regarding one of the guys on the podcast with us. But just before I get to that, I just want to quickly ask you. You spoke about the 2016 grand final. Obviously the Bulldogs won it in the AFL. I wanted to know sort of how the relationship sort of works around the club itself with obviously the female and the male team, and sort of how it's sort of integrated. Obviously we don't hear a lot about that, so just. Yeah, if I could pick your brains about that.
Yeah, they actually won the flag in September, and we got drafted in October. So I didn't know I was going to the Bulldogs. So I remember watching the grand final, and I think everyone was barracking for the Bulldogs that year. But I was definitely barracked for them, really excited, and then to get drafted kind of a month later was an exciting thing. You know, there was so much buzz around the club, so it was a good time to get drafted there. But I guess the relationships we have with the boys, we just don't get to see them a lot for the fact that they train in the morning. So I think they get there and train at 8:30 or so, and we train at 5 o'clock at night. So we don't get to see them much because they kind of leave and we get in there. If we do, it's because they're staying late and we'll see them in the gym, or the only other time is that if we organise a joint training session together. So yeah, I can't say that we see them a lot, but we definitely have relationships with them. You know, we obviously support them fully in what they're doing, and they support us with what we're doing as well. And you know, I get some texts frequently from some of them, and I just also check in on them to see how they're doing. So yeah, most of it, and especially now, most of it's over text, as we haven't really been able to see them in a couple of years because of COVID. So essentially we're not actually allowed to cross with them with COVID at the moment. So yeah, it's been a bit of a challenge, I guess, for the last couple of years, but yeah, hopefully we'll be able to see them soon.
Yeah, well, I can confirm that all three of us have watched that 2016 grand final religiously for the last few years, and we probably still will. So moving on, I do have a bit more of a light-hearted question. I understand that you and Lukey do a bit of work for the Simon Black Academy. I've just got a question. One thing you love and one thing you dislike about Luke?
Everything.
I do love Lukey. You know, he brings a lot of entertainment most days. He does act like a child most of the time. So I kind of forget if he's actually working with me or if he's actually a student. But I do have a lot of laughs, and I know that the students really appreciate you know, him as well. But yeah, he annoys me sometimes, and he knows that. He understands that. So mostly in the gym, I'll be, you know, working out, and he'll come and do something silly. But no, Lukey, I love you, and I love working with you, and I hope that we can work together for a long time coming.
Just on that, Brooke.
See, I don't think I'm that annoying. I don't think I'm that annoying. I just think I'm just a lighthearted, always happy person until I get angry and then I spray the group.
Who's the better coach, Mick or Luke? Mick Barlow, that is.
Who's the better coach, did you say, out of Lukey and Mick?
Should be an easy question.
They've both got their strengths. You know, obviously Mick has got a little bit more experience, but no, Lukey's great. He understands the game really well, and obviously he's been a student himself, so he can really relate to all the students.
Stop towing the line. Give me an answer.
I'm unsure or not if she understands you are still 0-18.
Yeah. I have a horrible coaching record. Mick has coached half the games I have, and he has a lot better record than I do.
It's not hard when you've never won a game.
I'm 0-18 as a senior coach. He's, was he 5 out of 4 out of 9? So pick one, Mick or me. 3, 2, 1, go.
No, I don't have a favourite. I just can't.
Oh,
I do. It's me.
Yeah.
now we do love doing question of the week here at the Backyard Battlers podcast. Our question of the week that we're going to ask you, Miss Lochland. Do you have 3 sports people, dead or alive, to come to dinner? Who are they? I'm putting you on the spot here, I know.
Yeah, 3 sports people. Serena Williams, Ash
Great
Barty.
one.
I've chosen all tennis here.
Bit of
Yeah,
tennis.
love tennis.
Right.
Love tennis.
It just comes to my head.
Everyone wants to have dinner with Ash Barty after
Sam
Wimbledon.
Kerr. I don't know. I've just a few off the top of my head.
Sam Kerr, Ash Barty, and Serena Williams. Pretty good crew.
Not bad. I think we'd have
Very
a good
good
time.
Hey, Brooke, so we're heading into finals for the moment in the AFL. Can you give us one of your favourite finals moments that you've watched?
Oh, it'd have to be the prelim of Giants and Bulldogs, surely.
Yeah.
I think I've watched that game about 10 times, and I think most other people have as well. So that, yeah, that's one of the best games
Yeah, I was going to say
ever
that
watched.
is.
Yeah.
Speaking of prelims, you kicked the goal to go into the grand final. Is that true?
Yes, you know how much I love talking about myself, Vicky.
I know, it's great.
Yeah,
Far less
I
than Luke
did.
does.
Kick the goal to
think
get
it
in the
was-
granny.
Yeah, I think it was a minute and a half on the clock. And I remember, and I know people watching would have been stressing because I do when I'm watching, but when you're playing, I feel like it's different. But you know there's not a lot of time. And a minute and a half, and I wasn't even stressed. I was like, I actually think we're going to be okay. We had the wind. It was like a hurricane. And I was like, I just had a good feeling. And yeah, so a minute and a half to go, kicked a goal and into the granny. So what happened then was, so we played Melbourne that night, and it turned out that because of percentage, even if we had have lost that night, we still would have got in the grand final. So Melbourne didn't end up getting in, so they were pretty annoyed at us because we would have got in anyway.
Yeah, that's confusing.
That is confusing.
So, but
It
I
is.
have seen that video. Is that the furthest you've ever kicked a ball? Because that flew through the post.
Well, say the question again.
That's the furthest. Is that the furthest you've ever kicked a ball? Because it generally flew through the
Yeah.
post.
I reckon. I didn't even know where the goals were. I was just like, there's someone on my ass, just kick it and hope for the best.
It's good work. It works really well. I've one question about working with me. The boys have made fun of me enough. I'm going to ask a question. Am I your best friend?
100% my best friend.
Yes, best friend.
You're far too nice, Brooke.
The thing is, the reason I try and annoy you is because you refuse to get angry at me. I just want to see you get angry at me. So I
Yeah,
just
so I'm
constantly
sure
try to
you've told-
annoy.
I'm sure you've told the boys that. So every time, every day at work, he tries to make me angry, and he hasn't been able to do it yet because I'm just patient, and clearly he's my best mate. So I'll never get angry at him.
Very good, very good. Thank you so much for joining us today, Brooke. You've been an absolute pleasure to have on the Backyard Battlers podcast. Thank you so much. We are so excited for your upcoming season. Hopefully it gets underway and watch the Bulldogs do some damage in the AFLW.
Thanks, boys. And I guess I just want to say that this is obviously, doing a podcast is something that a lot of people want to want to do, but aren't sure how to do it or where to start. And you've just gone out there and done it, which is really exciting. I'm sure there's some questions in your head. Is it going to work? Are we going to get guests? All of those. But at the end of the day, as you say, you're just three mates who are having some fun and wanting to do this. So well done, and hope it all goes well.
Thank you, Brooke.
Thanks,
Beautiful.
Brooke.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, guys.
Boys, how good was that? It's absolute pleasure to have Brooke on the show. It was so good to listen to some of the stories, and yeah.
She's very good to interview. We are terrible at interviewing, and she did a great job of carrying us through that. So apologies to anyone out there that wanted a better interview. We're kind of not capable of that just yet, but we'll get there. So just be kind.
I was going to say she was stringing us along with some good content. All we had to do was fire back a question that she basically led us straight into.
Yeah, she backed that for us.
I was about to say we're pretty used to being backpacked through most things, university, uni games, a fair few things we get backpacked through, and that's just
you got backpacked through.
You got backpacked at uni games, mate. You got backpacked.
we like being backpacked here. No. Well, in all seriousness, no, it was awesome, and to see the stuff that built Brooke into the person that she is now, and how awesome the insight she gave, and the AFLW and how it's expanding and how they've got to manage their time. That sort of stuff's just awesome, and the game's growing and it's getting better and better every year, and we're massive fans of it. And Brooke, on and off the field's a terrific person. So
yeah, it's great to have an insight. I'm personally very lucky to work with her. It makes it very easy to turn up to work every day knowing she's going to be there, and very lucky to call her a friend as well. So she's an absolute amazing human. And as well, she's got something in the works. So you just kind of got to hang tight. And if you want to see what Brooke Lochland's working on outside of footy, a new announcement will be made pretty soon. So stay tuned for that as well.
Very exciting. Welcome back to the Backyard Battlers podcast, brought to you by Goat Squad Media. Up next, boys, Goat Squad's hottest footy take. Boys, what a week in footy. It was a terrific end to a really, really massive season. It's a season that's been tested and teams have stood up, and it's produced probably one of the best regular seasons I can remember for a long time. So terrific round of footy. Boys, we've all got something from this round of footy. Lukey, why don't you kick us off?
Mate, honestly, I think the main thing that I love to see was just the raw emotion, not only from the players and the fans that we're used to, but the coaches as well, who are quite in front of the media. They have to be, cool, calm, collected, and say the right things and all that. And you saw Chris Fagan, obviously, when the Lions managed to get that top 4 spot, had the phone, threw it over, got rid of it, carried on. He's you love to see that emotion and that pride and all the hard work really pay off. So that's my favorite thing to see in footy, is just that passion from coaches, with their raw emotion that they show, where it's happiness or sadness. It's love to see it.
Make it mean something, and when it means that much to it, it makes it that much more for the fans when they see it means so much to the coaches and the players. Like Fage's reaction and stuff like that, it just makes you love footy even more, and it makes you love the team you support even more.
Yeah, 100%, mate, 100%.
And with the type of season it's been, with the COVID and everything like that, I think that's why it meant so much more to Fags and the Lions and all the teams that got through this round and ended up sort of where they wanted to be. The D's after the siren, it just meant so much more to them. And it was a terrific season. And unfortunately, at the end of every season comes, unfortunately and sort of fortunately in a way, retirees. This season, it's a pretty distinct list, and it's going to be upsetting to see a few of these guys not take to the field again, and hopefully they have some success off the footy field as well. But it's a pretty distinct list. And Lukey, you've got some big names.
Yeah,
to go through.
Yeah, I'll just run through the list quickly. So David Mackey, Tyson Stengel, Eddie Betts, Mark Murphy, Levi Greenwood, Chris Main, Patrick Ambrose, Cale Hooker, Stephen Hill, Jared Harbrow, Jack Hombush, Jordan Murdoch, Zach Smith, Sean Burgoyne, Tom Scully, Tom Rockcliffe, David Asprey, Basher Hooley, Dylan Robertson, Daniel Vanderbilts, and Ling Jong. Like that's a good list.
That's
Yeah.
a big list too.
Yeah,
Massive names
gonna
on there.
miss some. Yeah, gonna miss some of those players. You know, so it'll be a bit of a shame, but it's all kind of part of footy.
Yeah, boys. And for me, like, there's some massive names on there, and you could talk about a heap of those guys for hours and hours. But probably the biggest one for me, boys, is Eddie Betts. 350 games, 640 goals, 3 All Australians, 4 Goal of the Years. He's achieved a heck of a lot in his career, and especially the Goal of the Years. When you hear the Goal of the Year award, you feel like it's Eddie Betts every year. And you think back to some of his goals; it's just been an insane ride.
Yeah, do you think they should rename it after Eddie?
The Goal of the Year award,
Absolutely.
yeah, 100%.
Yeah, Eddie
I don't
Betts
think I
Award.
can remember a goal of the year that couldn't tell you who won it last year. Did Eddie win it last year? I couldn't tell you.
Nah, I have no idea.
I would. Surely we'd know if Eddie won it last year, wouldn't we? Like,
Yeah.
every time Eddie wins it, it's memorable.
100%. And he's the type of guy that makes you feel moments and hear like you look back at. I can look at a picture of one of his Goal of the Years when he's picking the footy up or something. You can hear the commentary as he kicks it just out of the picture, and the back of your head. He's a guy that has done so much for the game on and off the field, especially for the Indigenous community and all the racism and stuff that he's educated people on, and done so much for the game. He's just been a terrific player, and for what it's worth, we all wish him the best in the future.
100%, mate. And just on people like that. One of my biggest fan, like I'm the biggest fan of someone, is Sean Burgoyne. So Silk. He picked number 12 in the year 2000. I think you Spills, you were 2.
Yep.
You were 1.
Yeah.
Like babies. So for Ethan, fair chunk of your life, he's been playing professional football.
Scary to
He's
think
played.
of.
It is. He's played 407 games. He's won 4 flags. He's been All Australian. He's a Hawthorn Life member. He's kicked 302 goals. He obviously won the first flag with Port Adelaide in 2004, and then went over to Hawthorn, was part of their dynasty. I think, but as well, similar to Eddie, I think the work he's done off the field and has really paved the way for future Indigenous players. He's the first Indigenous man to play over 400 games. It's a massive, massive achievement that he's done for him and his people. And it's really sad to watch him go. He nearly got the match saving touch on the line again, but just couldn't quite get it done. But yeah, Silk, mate, will be sorely missed.
Yeah, definitely.
Sorely missed,
Definitely.
We've got a bit of a common trend going on here, lads, because I also would like to have a chat about Bashar Hooley. 232 gamer, 43 goals across Essendon and Richmond. 3-time premiership player, 1-time All-Australian. And let's be honest, if he wasn't in the team with Dustin Martin, could be a 2-time
normies. We'd have 2 normies hanging up in his room too.
2 normies. So Bashar's had a great career, but I think what highlights him similarly to Burgoyne and Eddie is that he has a foundation outside of footy called the Bashar Hooley Foundation. It's just a unique non-profit organisation that aims to help young leaders within the Muslim community. So I think that's great that all 3 blokes are continuing to influence the game on a level that is unmatched, really, I'd say.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah,
and that's
absolutely.
something we're massive here on this podcast. That's something we want to be a real topic going forward, and a real thing is highlighting the people side of these athletes, and hopefully as we talk to them that we can highlight the things that they're doing off the field that show they're just terrific people on top of the terrific athletes that they already are.
Absolutely fantastic. Honestly, I think with those 3 guys, obviously stellar careers, but at the same time, I think the impact they've had off the field is, I think it's greater than what they did on the field.
Yeah.
Which isn't taking anything away from what they did on the field. It's just how much of an impact they've had outside of the footy ground.
Yeah, 100%. So to all the retiring players, we wish them, from everyone here at the Backyard Battlers, we wish them the best into the future. Boys, we touched on it a couple of times already now, but how good was round 23? The Lions winning to secure the top 4 spot, getting it just done. Link McCarthy kicking that brilliant point. Most celebrated point in a very long time, I think. The D's come from behind win to win the minor premiership. How long has it been since the minor premiership's decided after the siren? How good?
Yeah, in the last round of footy.
Yeah.
It's pretty good. It's pretty big. I think the round was fantastic. Obviously, you had the draw, as well.
Yeah.
With Richmond Hawthorn sending out some greats. It was honestly, this weekend of footy it's probably everything you could possibly ask for in a final round. It decides top 4, it decides top 8. It was really good to watch.
I mean, the Doggies losing as well put open the door. The round had absolutely everything. So psyched for finals now. It's going to be a really, really good final series, hopefully. And if the regular season is anything to go by, it could be the best in a really, really long time.
Yeah, I think it was just a really good teaser. Great teaser. It was just a little.
It was almost like
little trailer.
It was almost like a weekend of finals footy before the finals footy started.
Yeah,
100%.
It was just an extended week of it, which was great.
100%,
Yeah,
mate. So boys, we'll keep moving. And sticking with the similar theme, we're talking about top 4 teams. We're going to talk about top 8 teams. I think this will be a bit of fun. 3 words to describe the top 8 teams. And the 3 words can be describing their season so far or how they're going to go in finals. I don't really mind. I just want to have 3 words on each of the top 8 teams from us on the spot. So we'll start with the top of the ladder and we'll start with you, Civvies, the D's. 3 words to describe them, mate.
Can do it. I think they can win the flag. They're probably the most informed team in the comp at the moment. So I think they can do it. They can win the flag.
For me, my second team. So if the Lions can't win it, I want them to win it. My second team.
I'm going to make a big call here and say drought nearly over. So I think them and the Saints might be the longest premiership drought. I'm going to come out and say drought nearly over.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm a big Lions supporter, but I think the D's got it this year. Port Adelaide, Civvies.
Oh, I love the Port Adelaide topic, and you boys already know.
I'm stealing it, mate. Fuck track bullies.
Yeah, you can have that, mate. I've actually got another one in mind, believe it or not. Gonna bottle it.
Yeah, it's terrific.
Yeah. Port Adelaide, I'm going to go. Oh, not much faith.
I like that.
Is it bad to fight in another word, pretenders, or is that a bit harsh? We're not massive Port fans. We're not massive fans. We'll move on, boys. Geelong, Lukey, we'll start with you for this one.
Now or never.
Yep. Yeah.
Premiership window closing. Now
very,
or never.
Very good, that one.
I'll go next. Can't hold leads or big leads. Civvies.
I don't know. I'm not sure how well this will age, but I'm going to go with the September Pretenders.
Ooh. It's a big call from the grand finalists last year, but
no one remembers runners up, mate. No one remembers.
Very true. Very true. Lions, boys, our team.
Fingers crossed, boys.
I've actually
praying for a win. Praying.
Stars to be born.
Ooh, which stars? Wait there. Which stars?
Lions and McCluggage. I think they're going to have massive Septembers. Massive.
Yeah, nice. E.
Mine's very basic, and it's very similar to the Melbourne one. Please win it all.
The Doggies. Lukey.
Ooh. Need to lift.
Yeah.
They need to show something. Big time.
Civvies.
Ooh. A lot of these might not age well, but I'm going done and dusted.
Done and dusted. Similar vein for me, in all sorts. They are in all sorts of trouble.
Oh God.
Then again, might be selling them short. They're one of the maybe the first team in a certain amount of years to win it from 7th, or maybe the first ever. So if anyone can do it, it's probably the Doggies. The Swans,
probably
your
is.
team, Civvies, you can kick us off then.
Swannies. Swannies are very, very dangerous.
I'm going to go Buddy, Papley, and Heaney.
That's
They're the
enough said.
only three guys you need to know.
I'm going to say will cause headaches. They will cause some headaches in finals. The Giants, their opponents in week one.
I'm gonna jump ahead here and say Smokey to win.
Smokey to win.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
win it all.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting, mate. I'm also going along that line. Maybe not win it all, but I've got Toby very dangerous. I think he's the key to sort of their success.
We spoke about him last week. With all their injuries, I'm going to go the 2021 Battlers.
2021 Battlers. Nice.
And we'll round out the 8 with the Bombers, your dad's team, Civvies.
Yes. I hope the Bombers go well, and I've got a good one. The package. What am I saying? Oh, the package. Yeah, the package stringer. He's going to carry them.
Stringer. I'm going to go similar, but I'm going to go 2 meter Peter. That
I like that
is all I need to say. 2 meter Peter.
I'm going to go the surprise machines. I reckon they've got some shocks in there for us on the run home. I think that was a bit of fun, boys. That was rounding out the top 8.
That was good. That was very good.
No, terrific.
Those my age,
could be worse than our predictions. Couldn't be worse than our predictions last week, I might actually say. We will keep moving, and it's another one of our favourite topics here at the Backyard Battlers. It's our AFL Battler of the Week. And this week's winner is David Atsbury, boys.
Oh, what a battler.
Absolute battler. And we're talking about retired players before. There's a heap of blokes in there like David Atsbury, who is retiring, a heap of blokes like him in there that are hanging up the boots who are battlers. But Lukey, mate, you got something for us on David Atsbury that really highlights he's an absolute battler.
Yeah, he played 155 games, which is 155 games than all of us combined. He's won 3 flags, which is 3 flags more than all of us combined. And the most surprising thing, 1 Brownlow vote, which, surprise is not, 1 Brownlow vote more than all of us combined.
We're not much to compare to, but very good points.
But this man has won more flags than he has Brownlow votes. And I think, mate, that's a battler right there. He probably got some of the toughest jobs down back for a long time. And he's played with some absolute superstars and just went out there, knew his role, played his role, and reaped the rewards.
Yeah, 100%, mate. He's Civvies. What's his nickname, mate? You were telling us pre-show what his nickname was,
mate. Took me a while to find anything about him, but all I know is his nickname's Swoopy, and I actually like it. It's well up there with Spills, I reckon.
We all know the origin of that now. Well done, Swoopy. David Atsbury, congratulations on the career, mate, and good luck in the future.
All right, boys. This is our favorite, one of our favorites as well. We keep saying it, but we love it. We love everything about it.
We love the show. Yeah, go to top.
Best club finals moments. 1 footy, 1 non-footy.
Oh, good.
This is terrific.
Lukey.
Yeah, mate.
Kick us off, mate.
So my footy one, let's just wind the clock back, 2005. Nick Davis, semi-final against Geelong. They're down 3/4 time. Kicks 4 goals in the last, including one about 2 seconds before the final siren goes to put them in front. They go on and they win the flag.
Will's shaking his head. He's clearly unhappy with what you're talking about.
No, I'm not unhappy with it all, mate. I'm just looking at my finals moment and realising mine doesn't even happen without this. So I'll let Lukey continue, but I'm just realising if this doesn't happen, my one doesn't even happen.
So, well, you're welcome. So, yeah, Nick Davis kicking 4 goals in the last quarter against Geelong in the semi-final to keep them alive, and then they push on and win the flag.
Yeah, terrific.
Awesome, mate.
What's your non-footy?
My
Do you have your non-footy one, mate?
my non-footy, Sibby's, you and I are big basketball fans. Spills wouldn't know who the Lakers are.
Oi, mate. I'm a fair weather Raptors supporter, and I'm pretty good at 2K.
You're horrible at 2K. Anyway, not the point. Moving on. So my non-footy clutch moment is Ray Allen, Game 6, NBA Finals 2013. LeBron gets the ball and inbound, 2 points down. No, 3 points down? 3 points down. Shoots a 3, misses, Bosch, rebound, passes to Allen. Bang. You can hear it. 3-point in the corner.
Sibby's doing everything he can not to scream it into the mic.
Bang. They force overtime, force Game 7, and they go on to win it. That's clutch. That is a clutch shot.
Definition of it, yeah.
Yeah.
Alrighty, boys. My footy moment, and as I said, wouldn't have happened without Nick Davis kicking 4 in the last quarter. Leo Barry's mark in the 2005 grand final. They snuck in with a goal with 2 seconds left, and they won the granny to mark with about 2 seconds left. And there's a picture of it, and we're talking about hearing moments on this episode. That is a moment you can 100% hear. Leo Barry, you star.
Leo Barry, you star.
What a moment. Boys, my non-footy one, and I'm a bit of a Tom Brady lover. The Patriots coming from behind in Super Bowl 51 from 25 points down to beat the Atlanta Falcons. Not really a moment as such, but a whole half where it was absolutely stunning. And, you love it to see stuff like that in a massive moment when a team just all clicks and it just goes right for them. And they absolutely nailed it.
Yeah, I love that.
Mate. Absolutely.
That was a great game. I watched that game. That was very good.
That's what
Can't say.
A lot of people would struggle to watch a whole game of NFL. If you want to watch one, that's the one to watch.
Big time.
Thanks, mate. You want to send me through the link afterwards? I'll give it a watch.
Oh, your sarcasm hurts sometimes.
Anyway, we'll move on. To my footy and non-footy finals clutch moments. So my footy one, 2018 Granny. We were all watching it together on the Gold Coast.
We were.
Yeah.
Collingwood West Coast. Quarter time, they were down 5 goals, I think, and we were all
we were ready to sink some cordial.
Cordials were going down a treat.
But lo and behold, I don't know how, pretty late in the last quarter,
the Weagles.
He takes a mark on the boundary in front of probably close to 100,000, and slots it. Obviously, there was a bit of controversy after the game, and I was thinking, maybe there was a block, but
let them play.
Yeah,
let them play footy. Let the boys play.
Let the boys play.
On that, we would have been robbed of one of the greatest grand final moments ever if the umpire had blown his whistle. So people,
I think
people complain about umpires all the time, but that's one of the greatest decisions. And yeah, anyway,
I'll
get on a rant.
He still has to go back and kick the goal. That's hard enough as it is.
Yeah, 100%.
If that was 100%. Any one of us three, that's going out in the full.
We are not even making contact with the boot if it's me.
I'm faking a hammy and getting someone else to do it.
Oh my god. And my non-footy, I may have bent the rules a little bit here. It isn't a clutch final, but it is a series just defining sort of knock, and that might have given it away. But it is a cricket moment. We're all cricket nuffies here.
Oh yes, big nuffies.
And it's
starting to warm up, boys. It's starting to warm up.
It's James Faulkner clutching up 9 down, 50 runs behind the Englishman in a one day at the Gabba.
You know what that reminds me of? My brilliant knock in the backyard last year.
I'm not starting this. I'm not starting this.
So we played backyard cricket a fair bit, obviously, when I was up in Brizzy. And it would be me and Spills versus Ethan, because Ethan's far superior than us.
He's played
Nah.
first 11 cricket. He's all right.
Yeah, Spills and I would struggle. Is the delight word I'm going to use. Ethan would bowl some thunderbolts from about 5 meters away and skittle our stumps, which was a bit rude. But Spills, yeah, you're not that great at cricket. Sorry, mate. You're about where I am and not
Mate,
good.
I rank my knock up there with one of the greats. But anyway, I digress.
And
He
anyway,
does-
it's not about you. It's about James Faulkner.
sorry, where were we?
It is about James Faulkner. And I'm pretty sure he's now the self-proclaimed finisher,
Yeah, absolutely.
I believe. Yeah.
I think he's
So,
got every
I'm
right
sure-
to claim that after that.
The only thing you can do, mate, is bat to bad light.
Yeah, well, mate, that's a trait. That's a trait. Could be a night watchman. You never know. Wouldn't bring much else.
I think we should move on because we could talk about that for a long time. We could argue
Yeah.
about it for a while too.
I
We
agree.
could.
We'll move on to my favorite part personally because
Oh,
I'm
look
a
what's
local
next.
footy prodigy.
It's actually the only topic that we trust him with here on the show.
That is factual. Anyway, so we'll move on. The quaffle, because I have so much knowledge about the quaffle. I will actually be predicting the upcoming finals of his series, which starts this weekend. I know
Huge.
Lukey knows a little bit about it.
I do.
So the elimination final, the first one is Redlands versus Maroochydore at Redlands. I'm going with Redlands, boys.
Yeah, Redlands.
Yeah, I'm not Maroochydore.
Maroochydore.
You're wrong. Keep going.
The second elimination final is Morningside versus Surface at Surface. Surface
Surface.
Paradise.
Demons.
Yeah, that's a safe bet, boys. Surface Paradise all the way. And the semi-final, which is to go into the prelim, Labrador will be taking on Broadbeach at Broadbeach.
Broady.
Broadbeach at the league.
Labrador. Pierce Hanley to be BIG.
Pierce Hanley. Jeez, he's going to have to chuck a few blokes on his back on the weekend.
Are you, for anyone, are you saying that they're not a very good football club?
Well, the Sherwood Magpies beat them at home.
Well, no
And we
thanks
were
to you,
pretty-
no doubt. You were pretty
no,
average.
thanks to me. I was playing attacking run. I think he kicked 3. So can't say it was a good day at the office for myself. But we also missed playing them at Labrador due to the COVID round. So we won more games than they did against us this year. So
That pretty much puts you in second place on the ladder in my eyes.
exactly.
Now that conversation, that comment's a really good segment. That's a really good segue into the next thing. Flog of the week.
Lukey, mate, I want to ask before we name it, 'cause how have one of us not won it yet? This is shocking.
I feel like it could have been changed like within the last 10 minutes. We could have changed it to someone from this.
Well, mate,
Yeah, probably.
you've been late today.
Actually, you
twice.
know what? We are going to change it. We are. This week's flog of the week is Ethan Evelyn Sivages.
Great
And
decision.
you know why? It's because you're late. You never answer your phone. You refuse to contribute. You need to shave your terrible facial hair. It's just
See, some of those I can work
too
on.
much.
I can work on all of those. I actually reply to messages, but if they're from you, I don't.
Well, congratulations, Ethan. You're our flog of the week. And just because I feel like mentioning it, we actually took aim at a whole football club's board because, we like to go big here at the Backyard Battlers, and we don't like the Carlton board after their treatment of David Teague. So, yeah, congratulations, Ethan Civies and the Carlton board. You're on the same level this week with flog of the week.
Happy with that, boys.
Now, flog of the week and now question of the week, boys. I want us to have a quick think. We've got 3 sports people that you invite to dinner. They can be dead or alive.
Oh, that's
I'm
a
going
good-
to kick us off.
That's a good question.
And my dinner has a theme to it. Obviously, there's myself, there's Kobe Bryant, there's Tom Brady, and there's Lee Matthews. 4 champions, absolute champions. Kobe Bryant, 5 titles. Tom Brady, 7 titles. Lee Matthews, 4 as a player, 4 as a coach. Myself, under 12s Div 3 flag.
That counts.
Champions.
That
I
counts.
don't even think
Champions.
I would also
Did you
like
say 4 champions.
Huh?
Yeah,
You said 4 champions at the start.
Yeah, 4.
I'm
So
with
Kobe, Brady, Lethal, and myself.
I'm with Ethan here. I would love to be a
Right.
fly on the wall when you're telling those 3 massive names about your under 12s Div 3 flag. I mean, I like to talk my under 16s Div 3 flag up, but that's something else. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, there you go. That's how that's worked. Spills, you're up. Give me a dinner.
All right, mine's a bit sentimental actually. Mine's a bit not as lighthearted. JT, Jonathan Thurston. I'm a massive Cowboys fan. The 2015 granny, and another bloke that does a heap off the field for the Indigenous community and for rugby league in general. And he has got his own academy now that's trying to help people find work. He's just a terrific bloke, and I think he'd be a terrific human to have dinner with and get some bloody good advice off. My next one, bloody Lukey stole the man I would have loved to have dinner with, and I've gone for the next best, Julian Edelman. And I would love to talk to him about that Super Bowl we talked about earlier and about how at halftime he came out and said, this is going to be one hell of a story. And any of the people I've coached will know that I bring that up a lot because for him to it's my go-to, one hell of a story. For him to
I'm sorry. I just can't picture you saying that, being like real serious, like trying to like inspire people. It's just, and sorry, mate. Keep going. Keep going.
We have so much faith in here at the Backyard Battlers. Love to have a chat with Julian Edelman. My last one, spoke about him before, Eddie Betts. Would love to have dinner with him. Another guy that we've already spoken about doing so much off the field and just a terrific bloke in general. And the footy will not be the same without Eddie Betts in it. And he made one of the reasons I fell in love with footy and loved footy even more was because of some of the stuff he did on the field. So that'd be my 3 boys.
Yeah, brilliant, mate.
Not
Great,
bad, mate.
great guess there. Great guess. Evelyn.
That's me. My first one would be MJ, Michael Jordan. I just to be completely honest with you, I just want to see his rings. I'd like to know how he went about it, how he motivated his teammates every single week and motivated himself to come back, especially after he had that break when he played baseball for a while, to come back and win more championships after that. My next one being a cricket nuffy, Don Bradman. I want to know how you can be so good at one thing that you just has a 99 average. And I also want to know, I know Spills and I have had a good chat about this. How can you get out in your last innings for a duck?
The bloke uses a bloody cricket stump and a golf ball for 5 hours a day. Can't we just have one bloke in Australia that succeeds to the fullest extent? That's very harsh.
Very harsh, but it's still a good question, I think. And finally, a current player, Dusty. Yeah. I just want to know what type of bloke he is off the field.
That's a good
You
one.
wouldn't survive 5 minutes with Dusty.
No, 100%.
It'd be a quick dinner.
Can I just make a point?
Nah, brilliant, boys.
That was a great question, Lukey, but just to be clear, none of these people
Thanks,
would ever have dinner with any of us, would they?
I might get Lee Matthews.
Shut up, mate.
I might be with Blackie and Lee Matthews might walk in somewhere.
Good thinking.
That's fair.
Figured it out, haven't I, boys? Anyway, moving on. That's the question of the week, boys. Really, really excited for what it's going to be next week.
Yeah, mate, you're on fire with these questions.
Thanks.
We're heading towards the conclusion of the show, but we've got one thing we're doing at the end of every show, and that's zero credibility predictions. And last week they legitimately had zero credibility and zero meaning. They were some shockers.
Absolutely.
Stevie, do you want to give us what yours was again? Game of the round?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this week, actually, lads.
What was yours last week, mate?
Oh, last week? Oh, I was trying to skip past that. My game of the round last week was North and Adelaide, and I think that
you were close.
Really
there was a draw and a goal after the siren, but yeah, mate, yours was super close.
They stood up those.
I'd have only put 6 games before it. Pretty close. No, well, having said that, I did have the Hawks win by 75 and they only managed 80 for the game. But to be fair, 1-2 better quarters of better defense. You never know. They might get
You never know. No, exactly.
All right, get on with it. Get on with it.
there. You just don't want to repeat yours, do you?
Nah.
All right, boys, what are ours for this week? Lukey, what have you got?
My zero credibility prediction. My safe bet is the Lions to get up.
Oof. Safe.
Yep, huge. Safe.
Are there any safe bets this weekend?
Nope. And then my outlandish is the Bombers to win comfortably.
Huge.
Civvies,
what do you got for us, mate?
That's really interesting because we were speaking about this earlier and they were actually my two, but I'll change them up for you. I actually will go. My outlandish one is going to be the same with Lukey. I just think the Bombers are in red hot form. I think the Doggies are unfortunate to be versed in the first week of the finals. And then my safe bet, I think, as good as Greater Western Sydney have been, I think the Swans will get it done this weekend.
Huge. All right, boys, my two really quickly. My safety is the Flat Trap Bullies to get bullied by Geelong and go out and take it a step further. They're going to go out in straight sets. You've got 2 weeks in a row there, boys. Could be over this week. We'll see. And my outlandish prediction is I've said Jared Lyons and Hugh McCluggage are going to have massive finals. I'm going to get McCluggage to kick 3 and Lyons to have 40.
Put in your multi, and if you get it wrong, Spills will pay you the money back.
You can keep dreaming. Boys, that wraps up our zero credibility predictions for this week.
It also wraps up our podcast, guys. We are so grateful to have you with us. Thank you for joining us on the Backyard Battlers podcast, brought to you by Goats Club Media. Next week, we have former Gold Coast Suns player Max Spencer joining us. We're so excited. Thank you again, and see you next week.